Hi guys, social media. I hope you all are well on tonight. It's a little bit early. I just want to get on just a tad bit early. As you can see, I am in a new spot. This is easier for me to set up than the board. So I am going to offer you guys my handouts. If you want a copy of this, just drop me your email or message me your email in the notes so I can send you a personalized. I will personalize it if I need to, but send you my notes from tonight's videos because it has more than one chart on it that I want to share with you all. So that's one reason I didn't do it, and then I just want to get in the habit of writing regular. So I think I'm going to play with my camera this weekend so I can do that and see you all comments and all of that good stuff. So that is my goal this weekend, to play with my technology already on and start using it at its maximum. I'm realizing I don't maximize my technology as probably some of us don't. I won't say most of us because I don't know most of us, but some of us probably don't maximize our technology like we should. I know this iPhone does a whole lot more than I'm using it for, and I want to, I think, upgrade my technology use. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Adrienne Harris from Writes LLC, and I just want to say hello. I have been gone for 2 weeks. Last week I was going to get on and my internet was not working. So as you can see, my internet is back up and running, and had it not been on, I was going to get on my cell phone and do this video because I missed you guys last week. You know, and I've missed doing the videos. So don't forget, we are in our first quarter, and our first quarter incentive for this year is a $25 gift card. And when you like, you love, you share, you comment on any of our posts, your name is going into our, I call it our prize vault. It's not even a vault because it's not really locked up, but our prize base. And I'm going to, you know, do the routine, shake it up, pull live here at the end of March. And should your name be pulled, you will receive our $25 incentive for this month. Now, if you like, love, or share more than one time, it does increase your chances of winning. Why? Because every time you like, love, share, comment on any of our posts, your name goes in here that many times. So the more you are liking, the more you're loving, the more you're sharing, the more you're commenting on anything Writes On related, you are increasing your chances of winning the $25 gift card. So just wanted to let you guys know that information. So with that being said, the last time I was on, we talked about we talked about pronouns as determiners. So this week what we are going to discuss is personal pronouns. We are getting into personal pronouns per request, and just the topic that was actually requested was pronouns, and I realized that the topic can get very, very meaty when you're talking about pronouns, and so I've tried to break them down in maybe 15, no more than 20-minute segments, just for the sake of teaching mini lessons if you need to. And then of course I'm trying to keep these videos under about 15 to 20 minutes at a time. So with that being said, we all know that personal pronouns, or most of us are probably familiar with the term personal pronouns. The thing I want you to take away from tonight's video is that personal pronouns are usually identified based on number and then based on case, and depending on whether or not the number and the case is third person, you have what they call gender specific personal pronouns. And we're going to get into case on next week, which is a part of our personal or our pronoun category. So we're going to get more into it. We'll hit on it tonight. So when you're talking about personal pronouns, the example that came to mind, let's say we are talking about Joe, and Joe goes to the store. So Joe goes to the store is our sentence. If we want to replace Joe with a personal pronoun, then what we would have to do is pick one that is relevant, if you will, to person and then number. And number has to do with whether or not Joe, or your pronoun, your noun, which is another word for noun in this particular series, is antecedent. You have to pick a personal pronoun or a pronoun and an antecedent that agree in number, case, and then person. So we're talking about Joe. Joe goes to the store. So if Joe is talking about himself, then Joe, if he wanted to replace his name with a personal pronoun, then Joe would say, I went to the store. Everybody with me? All right. If somebody was talking to Joe, and maybe Joe comes home and they say, hey, Joe, where you been? And Joe was like, oh, or you see the groceries, you're like, oh, you went to the store. That's second person. And then third person refers to Joe as if he wasn't in the room. Oh, so let's say Joe's mom said, well, where's Joe? And then they would reply back, he went to the store. And that's what you call third person. So first person is talking about I did it. Second person is referring to as if you're having a conversation with somebody, if you will, to kind of help you remember. And then third person is referencing that person, just for example's sake, as if they were not in a room. So I went to the store, you went to the store, she, he, or it wouldn't necessarily go to the store, but he or she would have gone to the store. And as it relates to our example, it would be Joe, so it's a he. Now you have to decide whether or not Joe is singular or whether or not Joe is plural. Well, Joe is one person, so he would be considered singular, which has to do with our numbers category of personal pronouns. So you wouldn't say they went to the store if you're just talking about Joe. That's where you start getting confusion in your sentence structure when you start putting sentences together, which we're going to get to, when you start mix matching antecedents and nouns. So because Joe is singular, again, you want to use those singular personal pronouns, which again are I, depending on, person, I, you, and then he, she, and it. Now, because Joe is a male, and we're going to say he's a dude, because he's a male in our example, then we wouldn't say it, because that's something that's neuter or neutral, if you will. And then she is typically considered feminine. So in our example, if Joe is a male, we want to use a masculine pronoun, and so we would use he. So that's how you make personal pronouns match in person, and that's how you make them match in what they call number. Okay, I hope everybody got that. So let me give you another example. Let's say I sing. I don't sing. I think I can sing, guys, but I don't sing, okay? So, well, I can sing sometimes, but I don't sing. So if I'm singing, if I'm going to write a sentence and say I sing or Adrian sings, but I want to replace Adrian with the appropriate personal pronouns, if I'm talking about myself to someone else, I would say I sing. If someone else is talking about me, they would say, or they're surprised that I sing, then they would say, you sing? Or they might say, oh, no, you sing. Okay. And what if somebody's talking about me? A conversation is going on somewhere, often down the street, and it's like, oh, do you know somebody who sings? Oh yeah, Adrian, she sings. Okay, so you kind of see how point of view even plays into this. If I'm talking about myself, then I'm going to use those personal pronouns that relate to me, which in this particular case is I. What if it's a group of us? Then we would say we sing. If it's second person, whether it's singular or plural, it's going to be you. And Southerners, you guys, we may say y'all sing. Oh, for real? That may be your response. And then if it's third person, if it's singular, again, in number, it's going to be he, she, or it. And if it's plural, it's going to be they sing. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Your personal pronouns, what they are doing is replacing your noun, and your nouns as it relates to personal pronouns are called antecedents. And what you want to happen in your sentences is for your nouns or your antecedents to agree in person, to agree in number, and in some cases they need to agree in gender, and that's where you get your agreement. Now, if you get comments on your paper, let's say you're a student and you're watching this video and you get comments on your paper that your pronoun and your noun, your antecedent agreement is off, this is what your teacher is referring to. They are letting you know that your noun and your pronoun do not agree in person. They don't, or it may not agree in number, or it may not agree in gender. And it gets really, really confusing, or it can get confusing if you have a sentence like either or, those type of, or no one, those kinds of nouns, but there are some rules that we'll possibly get into when you get into those kinds of nouns that seem to be group related, but sometimes they aren't. So we'll get into that. And also, if you have a word in your sentence, because I've seen it in the writing center recently, where students, I think the students' sentence was the organization. Gosh, I can't remember the sentence. I see it in my head, but there are some words in the middle that she mentioned. The organization and their, let's say, team, are. She had are in terms of subject-verb agreement. And what I was trying, I taught her the bracket method, was to go ahead and box off, where her subject is. She wasn't talking about the students or the members. She was actually talking about the organization. So you want to match your subject, which is organization in this particular case, which would be it. That's where you would use a neuter or a neutral specific third person, singular. Yeah, singular pronoun. That's talking about an organization. It would be good. The organization is. So just to go back to that subject verb agreement, which I don't think we've gotten to just yet. We're still on subject, and as we're talking about subjects, we're going a little bit deeper into nouns, because our subjects can sometimes be replaced with these personal pronouns. And if we all right, so let's see. I think that's it. So in conclusion, our personal pronouns are usually identified on the basis of number. They are usually identified on the basis of case, which we are going to get to next week. And then they are usually, y'all, I'm losing my train of thought because I see my chart. Person, and then you have number, and then next week we'll get to case. And that's all I have for you guys tonight. So remember, case, just as a heads up, our case is going to deal with our third person pronouns or third person point of view. And don't forget that your pronouns and their antecedents, and remember, antecedents is just a fancy word for the word your pronoun is replacing, or typically your subject or your noun, and all of these must agree in number, gender, and case. So I can't say he went to the store and it's just one person, and then, or Joe went to the store and I replaced Joe with they. That's an example of not having that agreement. But when I say he, because Joe is singular, he went to the store, then that's where your agreement comes in. So maybe next week we'll go ahead and do case, and then we'll talk about those words that get confusing in terms of agreement, because I see it all the time. And sometimes, guys, if I'm not careful, then I'll do the same thing. I'm sure sometimes we all make mistakes in our writing just simply because we're just not mindful. Sometimes our brains and our hands are writing, or typically our brains are writing or processing information quicker than we can get it down on paper, and we will make minor mistakes. Or honestly, we don't know the rules. We may not know the rules to those words like no one or neither. Those kinds of words, they get confusing when you start talking about agreement, especially if you don't know the rules. So we'll get into that, I think, the week after next. So we'll deal with case, and then we'll get into those specific personal pronouns or pronouns, and you're talking about agreement, those kind of catchphrases, I'll call them for the time being, that kind of mess all of us up, because I'm guilty of that as well. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Whenever you watch this video, my name is Adrienne Harris, owner, founder of Rights On Consulting Agency, LLC. Don't forget to like, love, or share this video, or even give us some comments. Drop some comments in our comment box, or you can send us some comments in Messenger, or you can even send me some comments personally through Messenger or on my personal page. If you have any suggestions on videos that you would like to see us do. This particular series on pronouns is per request, and I am super excited about doing it. One, because it was a requested video. So every time you do that, guys, your name is being entered into our drawing for first quarter for a $25 gift card. So don't miss out because you don't like, love, or share the content that you see here on Rights On Consulting Agencies, LLC's page. Please join us next week, same place, at our new time, which is 7:00 p.m. on Thursdays, as we say it's right, one word, one sentence, one paragraph at a time. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I will see you all, preferably, God willing, on next week. Good night. Oh yeah, my internet. Hopefully the internet's gonna stick in there, guys. See you guys on next week. Bye.